Hi, this is Mary Kay. Today we are painting Hapuna Beach on the Big Island in Hawaii. And this is a picture that I took. Here's with a splash. We're just gonna ignore the guy in the photo. I tried to get him out, but I don't have the technology yet. So what I did was I ran this picture off on my computer. I'm sorry that these little lines are coming down. I need to clean my ink jets. I traced it using non-water soluble graphite paper, so it looks like that now. And what I need to do is erase the lines where I'm gonna have the splash coming up. So I'm gonna have the splash coming up mostly here and then going up into the sky here. So I need to erase these lines, and I never use the orange eraser at the end of a pencil. I always use a good eraser, a good art eraser, one of these white ones, or you can use the one that is kneadable. So there we go. The first thing I'm going to do is paint the sky. I'm going to use, I think, cerulean. Let's just see. I'm going to wet the sky, and I'm going to think about it. I can kind of go over that, and I'm going where the water's going to splash, the white water splashing up. I'm going to paint there too, and I'm going to throw a little salt right in that one spot to try and get like a splashy look to it. Okay, so I'm going to look at the sky, and it looks very cerulean to me. Maybe a little bit of French ultramarine blue up in the top half of the sky. So I'll start up here with the darker blue. I'm going to go into more pure cerulean near the bottom here. And I might even put the tiniest bit of pink into that to make kind of a lavender, because it was sort of foggy down here at the bottom where it hits the horizon line. My horizon line is very near the middle, which is not good, but you can lower yours a little. And then the trick to a sky is to stop touching it once you've painted it. You just have to let it have some streaks, changes in colors. Right now I'm taking margarita salt, and I'm going to put the margarita salt right up here where the splash from the water is going to end up in the sky, just a little bit there. When I paint those dark lava rocks in, I'll get to that. I'm going to go into the ocean now, because if I paint the wet rocks, right, if I don't wait, then I'll get some blurring into my sky. It's getting dry already though. So I'm just gonna get my paint colors from my water ready. I'm gonna start right in here, and I see a lot of green in that water. I don't know if you can see that on the, let me try to get that closer. So right now I'm gonna paint the water at the horizon line, and it's got a lot of green in it. And the green that I like to use is Antwerp blue and burnt sienna, and it comes out just almost exactly like that green there. I'm going to paint this dry. And then I'm going to start using my brush on the side of it so that I start to get little white spots on the paper where it's not, I'm not quite touching I'm going over the rough spots of the paper, and it's skipping a little bit, and that's what I want. I want it to skip so that it looks like it looks like white water. I got a little too much right. I'm gonna just blot that up a little bit because I want to have my white wave right in there. Because I used non-water soluble for this drawing, it's not going to come up. So I'm going to now make this darker blue, which is French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and I'm going to make this with more French, even more. There we go, that's good. And then if I come up to this line here, it'll look like the water that is washing back from the shore. And I'm going to leave some white in this too. So the way I'm doing this is I'm holding my brush really, really flat to the paper, and I'm just kind of scrushing it along. And that makes the white from the reflection on those white caps. The next thing I'm going to do is mix the color for my sand. And the color that I like to start with on the sand, and then I kind of adjust it, is raw sienna and burnt sienna. So this is my raw sienna. It's a little yellower than the sand. And then I add burnt sienna to it. And then it gets pretty close. Those two colors get very close to the sand. So same thing here. I'm just gonna paint the sand in. I'm gonna go up over this part because I'm gonna darken this. That is the reflection of the mountain in the wet sand. I'm going to paint right over that, excuse me. And then this is a great place to sign my name. I'm just going to use the beveled edge of this brush because I don't have my signer out. So I'm just going to do MKS Jolly. I dig into my wet paper and it makes that dark mark. I'll let this dry and then go in with some shadows and some stuff on the beach. Now what I'm going to do is go into my mountains back there. Not the mountains, but the black lava. This is the Big Island, so it's the one with the active volcano. So all of the rocks are this dark, rugged volcanic rock. And it's very lumpy. The bottom's going to be kind of flat because it's hitting the water, but if the water's rushing up on it, it can be bumpy down here too. So the tricky thing now is to paint around the splash. So if I'm here and then the splash or this wave is rolling in right here, then I have to leave it white where that's rolling in. And if my splash is coming up here, I paint below, I paint this. Okay, that's the wave going in. And then the splash is here. I'm just painting this with the corner of my brush so that it makes these like makes these hard, rough edges. Like you don't want to walk on this stuff. Okay, and then maybe like a little bit showing right here. And that's my big splash. I can also add a little bit of water into these edges here so that they get, and here, I'm just adding a little water so that it kind of softens that. And then there's a little bit of shadow in this splash right there. So that's the splash. I might put a little water right here too, just to make that look wavy. Now I'm going to go back to my dark color and my 3/4 inch flat brush with the sepia and the neutral tint and start putting in this part of the rock in now. I want this even darker and more pigment than the ones I put back there. And this is where we see that the splash is behind this rock. And then here we have water that's brushing up against that rock. So that's not a perfectly flat area. And then this rock is the big one that goes out the page. I'm going to go back to this now because at the top of this is some green. So I'm going to go back and make green after I get this little bit put in here. These are the rocks. I want it to look rocky. Just changing the color and a little bit, some whites just kind of showing up. Okay, now I'm gonna get my round brush and I'm gonna make my ocean green again, which is Antwerp and burnt sienna. And I'm gonna add it to the tops of this because those weird little trees grow in that and they come down. That's maybe not light enough. I'm seeing it much lighter. I'm going to go ahead and make some lighter green. I'm going to use yellow and Antwerp blue to make this lighter green. There, that's better. So I'm going to put it into that green at the tops and see if it'll just sort of blend in and make some greens in here. I'm going to try some raw sienna, just pure raw sienna. And see how this looks. I'm getting it to kind of... You could put just a tiny bit over here, like there could be 1 or 2 bushes over there. So that's hoping that I'm trying to make that feel like a big splash going up. And if I take my beveled edge, I'm trying to make these like they're actually the tree. I'd like it better if these were brown, but this works. So it's like that little, the trees die and it's just those dead trunks and little branches, but if it's got a little green, it's okay. So it's just, notice that I'm not doing like 3 little things out of the same hole. Every time I'm scratching or dragging up this wet paint, I'm coming from a different spot and I'm changing the angle. Don't mind that. Kind of like it. Okay, I'm going to go back now and put in, if this mountain here, or the rocks are so dark, there's going to be dark. This dark is a reflection of this mountain in the wet sand. So I'm going to go to my number 10, and I'm going to put that same color right over the sand. I'm going to put a little bit of blue into it too. But it's the darkest right next to the white water. So I'm going to have this line go out here. And then there's some blues in there. I'll go to my cerulean. Could have used French, that would have worked too. And now I need to put a bunch of footprints on the sand and debris. So that was burnt sienna and sepia mixed together. And I'm just going to pretend that I'm walking along the beach. Walk, 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 walk. This is what the horsey does. Walk, 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 walk. You can brush it with your finger, just kind of making little debris along the edge where the tide, there's the footprints where the tide hasn't taken them out yet. All right, so that's just a very quick and easy painting of painting the shoreline in Hawaii. I'm not really feeling like this splash is living up to my expectation. I want to try to get it to do a little more somehow. How am I going to do that? Maybe just put more water in here and maybe lift it out with a clean paper towel. Let's see what happens. That looks a little mistier right in that little area. Maybe this is too sharp a line. Maybe my splash just isn't big enough. The salt worked a little bit, but not much because the paint was so light that the splash into the sky didn't really work that well. Try to get maybe some more shadow right in there. Like it's coming in. And I think right in here, I didn't make this wide enough, going out all the way out here. So the best thing I could have done was to have left that white, but now I'm going to go find my magic white paint. And add a little white because I feel like I don't have enough white right where my brush is there. So this magic white paint is called Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. I've used quite a lot of it. This jar's almost empty. Let's see. So if we have... Oh, you know what that is? It needed to be more white left there. Here's that white water rolling in. Oh, much better. Could even be lower here, huh? Yeah. Oh, that's a much, that's what it needed. Just might as well put more in now that it's here. Got this white paint. I can splatter it and see if I get some little, no, it's not splattering. Here, I'll just bluff. Oh, yeah, that's not good. Okay, I think that's good. My horizon line bled. So I can raise the horizon line or wipe that out. Let's see, I'll try kind of both. There we go. And then there's a little more. You can have some green underneath these waves. It'll be a little darker underneath those. There can be a little green over here too, otherwise it's the blue. Have a little reflections of the sky in that white water. Okay, I think I'm going to call it done. Thanks for watching.